Hey guys, today I wanted to talk to you about one of the most dangerous cursed artifacts in Jujutsu Kaisen. It's one of the ones that we've gotten to see so far in Season 2, and its appearance isn't entirely explained, but it can actually have a big impact on the story, so I thought it would be a good idea to go over and explain the Inverted Spear of Heaven. This is actually a very powerful object within the universe, and it actually has some interesting implications upon its introduction. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with the really easy question. What is the Inverted Spear of Heaven? It's the sword, one of the swords, that we see Toji using during his confrontation with both Geto and Gojo in Season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen in Hidden Inventory. Um, its best description is it looks weirdly like a bit of a short sword. It's about 3 feet long, and it has like a forking blade that comes off of it. This belies the fact that it is actually one of the most powerful weapons in the whole series. It looks like it would mostly be useful in short range combat. It probably would have a distinctive effect. I mean, Geto and Gojo and Toji all remark that it has a interesting cursed feeling to it that they can pick up on. That's why Toji has to hide it a lot of the time. But that doesn't really tell us what it does, and what it does is something quite frankly terrifying. It forcibly deactivates a curse technique, which is basically to say that it is essentially a pointy on-off stick for anybody's superpower within JJK. Now, when it says it can forcibly deactivate a technique, there are probably some provisions to that, and we're going to go over that with this. But let's just put it this way. When this spear is thrust, and I do think it has to be thrust into something for it to work, it will deactivate whatever cursed technique or aura is affecting the object it's being shoved into. We see this both when it is used against Satoru Gojo's Limitless, as it was able to break right through that field that it shouldn't have been able to and stab him in the throat, and then we also see it used on the Cursed Spirit's domain that works for Geto during their confrontation. It is remarkably powerful in this way as it essentially makes all barriers useless and allows you to overcome a myriad of different effects. Now, I do think that one of its provisions is it has to be thrust into the object. We see that Geto can't really do anything against it, but when Gojo uses Limitless Red, he's able to push Toji away, but Toji cannot stop the red. He ends up getting shoved hundreds of feet away. It more than likely occurs this way because he attempted to block it with the flat of the blade. He didn't actually push it forward. And while he does say he blocked it, I don't really think it qualifies as blocking if he still got shoved half a football field away. So that is one condition on it. Another condition is, and this is one that even Gojo brings up, it doesn't seem to be usable on the same target twice in a row. And I think the reason for that is that cursed weapons tend to operate on very technical, but always ironclad logic. Which is weird for a universe where things can be very illogical, but allow me to explain. The Inverted Spear of Heaven allows you to deactivate somebody's curse technique by stabbing them with it. But what happens if you were to stab them again? Now, the anime actually makes a mistake compared to the manga, and it shows that Toji stabs Gojo with it multiple times. He does not do this in the manga. Instead, what he does is he stabs Gojo once for the throat and then does the slice across the chest, and then he uses the regular knife to stab him in the thigh and then in the head. I think this is important, as if he were to use the Inverted Spear of Heaven again to create the finishing blow that actually would have killed Gojo. One, Gojo would have died, which can't happen, but also, I think it would have reactivated the curse technique. We don't have a lot of evidence to say this would or would not happen. It just feels like something that would work in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, this weapon is so powerful, but you'd basically only be able to use it once on an opponent. If you try it again, it would actually forcibly activate their technique. It feels like a weird thing that would work within this universe. That Satoru Gojo is able to defeat Toji during their fight, and we know that Toji had it on him during that event, and then it kind of just disappears from the story. We know later from a conversation with another very important character that one of two events probably befell the Inverted Spear. One was that Satoru somehow managed to destroy it, which, given that this was a special grade weapon, doesn't seem likely. Those are very, very difficult to destroy, but not impossible. The other is that he had it sealed away in a foreign country. If that were the case, it could appear again someday, but it could also just as likely be lost because, he'd never want that found, and he could have taken that to a remote island somewhere that's difficult to find. We probably will never know exactly what happened to the Inverted Spear, but it's always fun to think about what would happen if somebody like Yuji got a hold of it. And that's all on today's video.